how was church? Yeah, how's yeah, how's yeah, are you okay? Are you feeling good? Are you okay? Are you feeling good? And how's the of the year 2025? Sat down and taking stock. The year is going. The year has gone. Before you know it, to be a close of another month. I don't know how you look at it. I wonder how the day runs by. We started August just yesterday, and today you can barely count how the days run. You know, before you wake up from your bed, it's already night. You know one thing. Anytime you have and you don't take an opportunity of it, it will just slip by your hands, and that is how our life is just going. Somebody said we sometimes in life we encounter bends. Bends talks about situation and circumstances that we come across in life, and he said if you don't negotiate those bends for you to, access success, those bends will still remain there. And one bad thing about it is that time will not wait for you. Time is not any man. The greatest enemy that a man has is time. Time, they say time is money. Our life is hinged on time. Everything you must do is time. Thank you for coming in. How are you? How are you doing? How are you? How was your Sunday? Please, if you are coming in, give me a thumb up and let me know you are there. Please do the needful. Go subscribe. Go like. Go. I mean, make sure you press the notification button each time I release a video. You'll be the first to see it. I'm here. You are out there. Once again, I say welcome. I said life, time does not wait for no man. Anytime you don't use, you will not get it again. Our life is hinged on time. Every time that is given to you, God expects you to make good use of it. Good use of it, because the times are running. The Bible says, if God does not, I mean, maximize the day, there will be much evil. If God does not take care of the day, even the righteous will be scarcely saved. If God does not redeem the day, the righteous will be scarcely saved. That's to tell you, there's so much evil going on the earth. As the times are running, that is how evil is increasing every day. The Bible says evil will increase on the earth, and the love of many will wax cold. I'm telling you, situations are going on. And that person that told me also that he said life is full of bends. That bends is that everyone you see in life has one situation or circumstances or the other. You are going through a situation in life. Everybody you see, is it in your marriage? Is it in your business? Is it in your career? Is it in your place of work? Is it in your, in your life? You are going through one situation or the other, and I'm telling you, those situations have not come to swallow you. I'm here today to discuss a very crucial topic. I call it, in every storm of life, there's a miracle that God wants to, I mean, bring out of every situations of life that you go through. Remember, God did not tell us that we will not go through situations and circumstances. He said, count it all joy when you go through diverse trials. When we talk about diverse trials, I call it trials means storms. One scripture call it troubles, troubles of life. One scripture call it temptation. But the Bible tells us that God never tempt any man. So if you are tempted of your own lust. That's how the Bible calls it. God does not tempt any man. But I've come to realize that the temptation or the troubles or the storms of life are situations and circumstances. If you don't know it, the devil uses situations and circumstances of life to want to sniff destiny out of you. Destiny is calling. God is the one that gives destiny to everyone. God gives destiny to every man. Every man coming to the earth, has a destiny that is about to achieve. You are the man that we are looking for. Everyone is important. Everyone that God created, everyone that God drops in the earth, they have one or two things to deliver. So you are not just a an entity, but you are an entity that is packaged. I mean, you are a gift to your world, and the world is expecting to, I mean, harvest your giftings. Every man is created with a gift. Every man you see, every man, into the world is so toxic because there's a devil that doesn't want you to manifest. So you see, situations and circumstances will want to choke life out of you. The devil wants to choke life out of you. There's a miracle lying underneath that situation of life. So you so you see, situations come. Okay, let's look at it. Man was created and put. Let's look at it. Man was created and put. Let's look at the genesis of how the troubles, all the storms of life came into being. It was when God came and Eve in the Garden of Eden, and God instructed Adam. Adam was the one giving instruction. He said, "You should not eat from the tree. You should not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil." You see, there's a good part of that tree, and there's also a bad part. The Bible says the knowledge of good and evil. He said, "The day you eat of that fruit, you shall die." And he said, "The knowledge of tree of life, you should eat from it." But we all know that Adam was not the one that disobeyed. I mean, he was the one that disobeyed, but he was the one that was given the instruction. Adam did not school his wife to tell her the instruction of God. So in the reasons, if Adam was not deceived, it was Eve that was deceived. Adam would have. So the Bible said, "And the day they ate of that fruit," so the Bible said, "And the day they ate of that fruit, they became naked." What is it to be naked? They began to depend on themselves. You see, your nakedness is that with the day you begin to yourself, that's the day you begin to die. That's when situation and circumstances begin to swallow you up. So the day Adam began to look at himself, his eyes were from the Maker, because it is in God that we live and have our being and find expression to life. So the day Adam took his eyes off God, he began to see situation and circumstances. Situation and circumstances is the storms of life, things that want to choke life out of you. Because why? The devil is in. So the devil want to snuff life out of you because you are on a destination. Remember, the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof, and they that dwell therein, and everything that is in it. But it's the devil, that is in the earth that does not want you to amount to anything. So the devil creates situations and circumstances to want to destroy that destiny of God that is molded in you. But I'm here to announce, to give you good news today. In the mix of that situation and circumstances, when you go through the storm, that storm of life is what God uses to make a miracle. So you see the disparity between the two. One is to destroy you, one is to make you. So let's look at the storms. As applicable to our life. You might be in a marriage and there's no child in that marriage. That is a storm. For every marriage, the blessing of every home is a child. The cry of a child in a home is a blessing. But any child that does not experience, any home that does not experience a child, there's crisis in it. I was just thinking. I'll be identifying different storms of life. I'm just talking about it now. I'll be identifying different storms of life. I'm just talking about it now. Remember I said the devil uses situations and circumstances to want to destroy your destiny. That you are set on in life, sets you on a destination. And the devil uses situations and circumstances of life to want to destroy that destination. And you see, in the verse, the devil is trying to use situations and circumstances to destroy your destination. God uses those terms, those situations and circumstances, to make a miracle out of you. And most of us are not patient enough to wait for the miracle to mature for us to eat. You see, that storm for the miracle to mature for us to eat. You see, that storm comes, and once we are overwhelmed with the storm, we are storms of life. I was talking about a married couple in a home. One of the storms that happens when there's no child in that home. You see, the blessing of a child in a home I mean, it's a beautiful thing. But when there's no child in the home, I mean, the whole house is empty. The essence of getting married, I mean, it does not bring out the beauty, because why? God said, I will bless you. I will bless you in children. I will bless the fruit of your womb. So the seed of that home is a child. It's children that comes to the home. So you see, there's a storm when there's no child in the house. And when there's a child in the house, there's also storm. You bringing them up, I mean, in the way of the Lord, that as they grow up, they will not depart from it. It's a storm. It's a whole storm. Have you ever raised up a child that ever told you that must I belong to a family? I've seen a family. I've seen children that raised from a home, and a child will raise up, stand up, and tell you, "Must I be? Is it a must that I must belong to a family?" Because he doesn't understand. I mean, created God that fell from heaven. Everybody passed through that. So, so you see, everyone. So remember, I'm dealing with the storms. Remember, I'm dealing with the storms. I'm taking each storm, and hasn't she not given birth to you for you? You know, the house is empty. And what about if the home has children? You will see out of those children give you, I mean, a lot of trouble. I mean, there is up in the way of the Lord is a storm, because they don't want them to amount to anything. Every child you see carries a destiny. They are on a destination and they are going somewhere. There's a devil that doesn't want them to amount to something. The devil wants to use them for evil work. So that is a storm. So the stress and the challenge it takes to raise up the children, when you raise them, they come of age. One day they have grown up, they will leave your house. Some of them will tell you. So some of them will raise their voice on you. I mean, those ones that talk back at their parents, they say, well, I'm looking for when you are going to leave this house. I remember those days when we were little boys growing up with my mom. When we do anything that is not, comely, my mother would tell me the taste of the pudding is in the eating. So that means that, see, until you begin to go through situations and circumstances, you will not understand what life is all about. So the taste of the pudding is in the eating. So raising the children from a home is another situation and circumstances to deal with, and that is another storm. Again, when the children come out of your hand, they are empty from your hand. The other time I talked about this topic, and I was talking about everyone go through storms. I mean, how do you weather the storms of life? How do you weather the storms of life? The storms of life are the challenges you go through in life. I talked extensively about the storms of life. I was talking about Jesus was in a boat, and the storm was raging powerfully and everything, and Jesus was not moved. Powerfully and everything, and Jesus was not moved. The disciples saw the storm and they were shouting, "Master, Master, don't you see the storm is high?" And Jesus, you men of little high, and Jesus was not doing it about. Jesus was calm in the mix of them. Jesus was calm in the mix of the raging storm. Why is calm? Why was? Have you ever wondered why Jesus was calm? Jesus was calm because why? The storms of life, the challenges of life, the situation and circumstances of life have not come to swallow us up. I talked extensively about the storms of life. How do you weather the storm of life? And I talked about the miracle that happened at the Red Sea. The miracle that happened at the Red Sea is, the Israelites were able to weather the storm in the Red Sea. I call it weathering the storm of the Red Sea. Have you ever imagined in your mind when the Israelites came out from bondage of Egypt, they came to the Red Sea and they were stopped? Have you ever found yourself in a situation whereby you are stuck? Thank you for coming in. If you are joining me, can you give me a thumb up? You came, in situation of life, you got stuck in a corner. And you ask yourself, how did I get here? We all have been there. Or we all have found ourselves in a situation of life that we cannot help ourselves. You begin to wonder yourself in the first place, how did I get here? No, you shouldn't ask how you get here. Everybody asks that question. But what you should ask is, how do I get out of here? Oh, how do I get out of here? How do I get, as if somebody said it's a bend. You find yourself in a bend and you negotiate to come out. Life is full of bends. Tell me the situation of life that has beaten you that you can recall of and you want to share with us, please can you come up and tell us the situation of life that has beaten you black and blue you want to share. So the situation of life will beat you black and blue. I mean, you begin to wonder. I mean, you want to, how did you get here? But what you should be thinking about, how do I get out of here? I dealt with that one. But today I'm taking the storms. Let's look at the storms, the challenges of life, one by one. And I'm looking at the family nucleus. I was looking at marriage. I mean, I've been talking extensively about the home. You know, even when the children come of age, they have grown up, they will leave you. You, the parents, and you and your wife will not come back the way you started. You see, that is what life is all about. You begin to rekindle your love again from the first instance. Remember, when you, both of you got married, you were alone, trusting God for the children. Then when the children comes, they come of age, they are matured. I mean, they want to begin to fend for themselves. You let them go. You send them through the school, 4 walls of school, and now they are made up of, you want to send them into the world so that they can, find expression in what they can fit themselves into. They begin to go out of your hand. They go into the larger world to find expression. After that, you and your wife are left alone the way you started. You see, that is how life is. That's another stage of storm again. Letting the children go. Letting the children go, they are empty from your hand. At times you say you are free, but it's another storm. You begin to adjust again. You learn how to adjust in your home. The way both of you are, for those of you that don't have help, you and your wife begin to do the chores, normal chores in the house. So it's a whole challenge. Both of you are busy out there. You see, when you go and come back, no one to help you because the children are helped. God is so amazing in the way He structures the family life. So, but if you don't have any help, you begin to do your chores yourself. Please like the like. If you are coming in, can you give me a like? Just like the life. Give me a thumb up. Please encourage this life. I'm talking about the storms of life, things that are choking you, that want to choke life out of you, things that want to make you lose heart, things that want to make you give up the towel, like they said. Have you been in that situation so many times? I'm talking about the storms of life, looking at the home. So there's storms. What about when you get a job? When you get a job and you have enemies around the place of work, and there are some people that don't want to see your face, or maybe you are too intelligent and you are too competitive for the people, and they cannot but hate you because why? You are showing so much youthful exuberance. You are looking more intelligent than everybody. Everybody don't want to see that. People look at it the other way around. So these are storms. These are challenges you go through. Or have you found yourself in a place, in a family, whereby you are the breadwinner and everybody depends on you? Everybody looks up to you. And if you're not living to your responsibility, what happens? They feel you're not capable of being the head. Headship, they say, is not a title, it's a functionality. These are all storms of life. We look for me. Please connect with me. Please connect with me at this hour. Wherever part of the earth that you are connecting from, please connect to Okonjo Christopher. At this hour, you will have value for your time. I promise you that. Let's chat. Let's have a good time together on a topical issue that concerns every human being. I'm talking about how do you, the storms of life. How do you weather the storms of life? How do you go through the storm? Don't allow the storm of life to swallow you up. These are one of the things I'm talking about. Today, I want to look at the storm of the Red Sea. Let's talk about that. That's the most fantastic, amazing miracle ever done, in the Bible. Remember, the devil uses situations and circumstances to want to destroy your destination. But God uses those storms, the situations and circumstances, to make out a miracle out of your life if you allow Him. So let me look at the storm that happened at the Red Sea. At the Red Sea, the Israelites, before the Red Sea, has been in Egypt for 430 years. They were being dehumanized. You know the story. After Joseph died, there was another Pharaoh that came, a Pharaoh that knew no Joseph. And then also there was a situation on ground, and that the Israelites are gaining ground in a foreign land. And this Pharaoh became afraid, and he's right mindset. Say, if we leave these people out of ignorance, they will supersede us and overrun our country. I think you will say that's the right judgment and that's the right thinking. That's what's going to happen. So what did he do? He put measure in place. He said, Lord. So this saw, the calamity that is going to befall Egypt, and it was so smart. Let me, dehumanize these people. That was what he did. So it meant they were delivered. Their way going, their first encounter was the Red Sea. You see, that's a storm of life. That Red Sea is situation and circumstances, set up by the devil to terminate their destination. Remember, their destination is the promised land. That is the way your life is. You are going somewhere to happen and they does not want you to get there. But I'm here to tell you today, the storm of life will not stop you. They were going on a destination. A land is the destination. Our destination is a man called Jesus. So these people were on a destination and they got stuck. The devil kept create a chaos, a situation and circumstances in the look of the Red Sea. The Red Sea, was in their front, and behind them, God loosed the Egyptians. The Egyptians were coming, and by both sides there were mountains. So they were in a dilemma. They were in a confused state of mind. They were in a storm. That was a storm of life. But one thing I want to bring out there is that the people began to cry to Moses. I don't know, grief that you brought us here to die in the middle of this Red Sea. They began to say a lot of things, rubbish things and everything. And Moses saw the situation, he couldn't help it, and he cried to God. And you know what God did there? So God said, why are you crying to me? Tell the people to keep going. That was what got me excited. In the mix of that crisis, in the mix of this storm, God will tell you, keep the going. The people of the world say when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Do you know what that means? When the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Which means in the mix of the storm, you have to keep going. You don't look back. Because why? The storms of life has not come to destroy you actually. That's what I saw. I'm trying to bring an analogy there. In the midst of that storm, God told Moses, tell the people to keep going. Why are you crying to me? Tell the people to keep going. You understand what I mean? And Moses so courageous, tell the people. He said, trust God. Your God, you trust the Lord and you see the salvation of the Lord. He said, put your trust in the Lord and you see his salvation. I like that man, courageous Moses. Moses was so courageous. I tell you no lie, Moses was so courageous. He said, put your trust in the Lord. He said, cast away your fear and see the salvation of the Lord. I forgot how he said it. And when they put their trust in the Lord, a miracle actually happened. What did God tell Moses? He said, Moses, what is in your hand? Moses said, just a rod. He said, point that rod, stretch your rod. And what happened? Everybody, we all know that rod was the instrument of miracle throughout the life of Moses. When Moses stretched that rod, the Red Sea parted. That was a miracle. You see, there's a storm. In the mix of that storm, God brought out a miracle. In the mix of that storm, turbulent time, when everybody was shaking, everybody has lost hope, have lost everything they can ever think of. Out of that dark moment, one thing, God parted the Red Sea and asked them to cross. But you know one thing? It takes a great faith because, man, nobody has seen that kind of a scene before. Seen a Red Sea today. That miracle is very phenomenal in the life of humanity. We have never seen a miracle like that the Red Sea parted and the people had the courage to cross. It takes a whole lot of faith. It's an uncommon faith, not a faith that we can see again on this earth. They crossed on a dry ground while the Red Sea parted. Have you seen the picture? When you think in pictures, what caused the water to recede by the side? And they were crossing. They crossed until the last man crossed. And you know what? One intriguing thing and one funny, amazing thing is that the Israelites were pursuing. So they saw that great miracle. They also thought, they didn't even think in their mind, how did it come to be that a sea will parted? The Red Sea, they've known it for years. When they see just part, they plunged into it. But I have to tell you that, you see, we have a God that is a miracle worker. And if you are not in tune with him, when you see storms, the storms kill you. You know why people commit suicide? Because they've lost touch with God. When you lost touch with God, not knowing that the storms of life have not come to swallow you, but rather to make a miracle out of you. If you do look at my description, I said, well, the devil uses situations and circumstances like the Red Sea to want to terminate your destination. But God uses those storms, the situations and circumstances, to make a miracle out of your life. That was what God did at the Red Sea. He made that storm of life, He made a miracle out of it and gave it to the Israelites. And when they came out successfully out of that Red Sea, there was a song that was put in their mouth. God has saved us from our enemies today. So that's the same. So I say right now, I don't know what's. I mean, don't allow the storms of life to overwhelm you. When it overwhelms you, is that you can't. I mean, you begin to say, "Oh God, where are you, God? Oh my God, oh my God." I mean, some people go to that level, it drives them, and the devil to drive you to destruction. But God uses the storm make a miracle out of you. So I want you to look at it. If you are not getting anything today, just look at it that the storms come to destroy. But the intention of the devil was to destroy you with those storms. You understand what I mean? But you see, the intention of God uses those storms to mold you. Let me give a physical example again of Job. I'm going to give you 3 examples today. I've given you an example of the Red Sea. Now I'm going to give you the example of Job. Job was the richest man in the East. He said that Job had everything any rich man we ever had. He was rich in wealth and everything. He has influence and affluence. He had a good family, children and sons, daughters. I mean, he has a large business going for him, and he loves God. One thing about Job that he loves God. And there was one time the devil took permission from God. He said, "Look, you see this your servant." No, it was God that was using Job to brag. He said, "Don't you see this my servant? He will never quit serving me." And God now said, "Okay, it's because you are blessing me with everything." He said, "Allow the storms of life to befall him. You see, it will cause you and die." So God permitted the devil, and the devil also. So you see, Job. Also, you see, Job. So there come a season of trials in his life. They say his children all that were in a party, they died, and all the cattle all that were in a party, they died, and all the cattle that he has on 1,000 hills all died, went down. Everything was going berserk for Job. Job had boils all over his body. You know, that was the craziest thing that ever happened to the man that is the richest man in the East. Job became, I mean, an amazing figure. I mean, yeah, even his wife asked him to curse God and die. His own wife. So you see, these are storms of life. His wife also became a storm. Have you gone through situations like that? Yeah, there are storms. His wife even became a storm. His wife even became a storm. His friends, you know. But one thing that Job ever regretted is that one thing that Job never did, that he never cursed God. He said it is God that gives life, and it's still the same God that sustains it, and it's still the same God that has the authority to take that life. Job never cursed God, but one thing he cursed the very day he was given birth to. Job, I mean, endured the cross, despised the shame. He held on. But we all know what happened at long last. What happened? When Job came out of that trials of life, the Bible records that he became twice richer than he used to be. The richest man in the East became twice. All his children were restored. Life became more meaningful. Life became more sweet and beautiful. So I don't know what you are going through right now. That is so, alarming. I mean, it's out of the blues. You can't understand what you are going through. As if the storms, the situations of life are about to swallow life out of you. Yeah, actually, the storms are meant to come and swallow you up by the devil. Let's get it in straight. Every situation you see in life is meant to come and swallow you up. God. Remember, the Bible said, "It's a greater is He that is in us than they that are in the world." The one, I mean, the one staging the storm is the He that is in the world, the devil. The devil is the one. Remember, it says a roaring lion, but that cannot bite. A roaring lion that cannot bite. He's the one raging the storm, trying to put fear in you. You see, fear is not of God. God has not given us the spirit of fear, neither has given us the spirit of timidity, but that of love. Please give me a thumb up. You are coming in. Can you just give me a thumb up? Tell me what part of the earth you are connecting from. I'm here to chat with you. My name is Okonje Christopher, and I'm live streaming. I'm telling you that in every situation of life, there's a storm that wants to choke you. So you see, Job saw the storm. So every storm you see is staged by the devil, not by God. But God uses that storm to make a miracle. For you can see very well, since Job passed through the storm, God used that storm to make a miracle out of his life. His life changes. His life became twice better. My brother, that's the same situation we go in life. We go through in life. The same situation we go through in life. I'm telling you, I am going through some situation in my life also, and I'm asking God, God, how did I get here? How did I get into this bend? Have you been there? I am there. I'm telling you, so many things happen. So many things happening at the same time, just hitting you. You begin to wonder, where is it coming from? Has hell been loose on you? Yeah, it is hell that is loose. Those storms that come is that hell loose on you. Just like what happened to Job. Hell was loose on him because God permitted the devil to put him through those trials. So God does not tempt anyone. It's the devil that tempts us. God is not a tempter. I'll give another analogy again. When Jesus finished his 40 days fasting, he was in the wilderness. And the Bible tells us that he was tempted of the devil. The devil took him to the high pinnacle of the temple and said, if you fall down from that height, the angel will give you charge. That was not the first miracle anyway. That was not the first temptation. The first temptation is I say, if you know you are the Son of God, turn these stones to bread. Jesus was hungry. He just finished fasting and prayer, and he became hungered. And the devil told him, he said, if you can, he said, you can turn these stones to bread. But Jesus answered him, he said, man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. So those temptations will come, those storms will come. At that time, you need the word of God. The word of God in your mouth is a lethal weapon. The word of God in your mouth that you speak at the time of trials are very important. I'm telling you, be careful what you say at the time of your trials. Even if the whole earth is going to fall on you, tell yourself that God is going to make beauty out of me. Because he said in his word in Jeremiah chapter 9 verse 11, he said, my thought towards you is not of evil but of good, to give you an expected end. God desires to give you an expected end, not to give you a bad one. Please, if you are joining me, give me a thumb up. What part of the earth are you connecting from? I'm happy to have you this morning or this afternoon or this evening. I'm talking about the storms of life. I don't know what you are going through in life. I'm here to tell you that you can come out of it. I've come across people that go through situation and they tell me they want to commit suicide. Suicide is not an option. Suicide for a child of God is not an option. You are not designed to go through suicide. Suicide is not an option. Suicide is meant for the unbeliever. See, remember, I want to remember again as a believer, before God set you loose on the earth, he called you an overcomer. When you have not even overcome anything, before God set you lose your destiny on the earth, he said he has made you, he said you are an overcomer. He said overcome the devil by the blood of the Lamb, by the word of our testimonies, and we not loving our sin to the dead. You are all an overcomer, the Lamb, by the word of our testimonies, and we not loving our sin to the dead. You are all an overcomer. Because the Bible says, greater is he that is in you than they that are in the world. The devil is in the world, but God lives inside of you. So what is going with the devil, the storms of life, is not you, it's the God that is inside you. And remember, that God that is inside you is the one that turns the storms to a miracle. The title of my message today is that, or if you look at my description, is that your situation and circumstances is what the devil uses to want to destroy your destination. Your destination is where you are going on earth. You are loose on this earth to go on a destination. You are going to accomplish a purpose for God. I'm telling you, you came across the storms of life. Those storms must be there. These storms have not come, to destroy you. These storms that the devil comes with is what God turned around. God turned around our situation and circumstances to become a miracle. Let me give you an example again. You see, let me give you another sight again. You see, imagine, let me talk about Jesus Christ. When Jesus Christ, before he went to the cross, he prayed a simple prayer. He said, God, if it's your will, allow this cup to pass me. But if it's not your will, let your will be done. Rather, he was praying and he was sweating blood, interceding. If it's the will of God, let this cross pass him. So you see, God knew. So you see, God knew that you are going to encounter storms in life. But because the Bible says, greater is he that is in us than they that are in the world. The greater one is in the earth. It's inside of you. He, the devil is there. He wants to choke that destiny away from you. But the God that lives in you will fight back. So you have what it takes to fight back, to become an overcomer, to become a conqueror. You say you are more than a conqueror. God has designed you to conquer. So you conquer. So you can't chip in for the storm of life that is raging. You don't give up. You don't give in. Thank you for joining. You don't give up. You don't give in. Thank you for joining me. Who is that again? Jomo Idris. Jomo, what part of the earth? Give me a thumb up. You have like the like. Please subscribe to me. I've forgotten what part of the earth you are coming from again. Thank you for coming to this live stream. How are you doing? How was your Sunday? I hope you have a nice time. Please say something to me. I want to talk with you. It's chat time on Okonjo Christopher Television. I'm happy to have you at this time, highly elated, and I'm happy. I'm just talking about the storms of life that we go through. Storms of life, that situations and circumstances that we go through in life. And are you married? Jomo, Idris? Oh, you told me, yes, you live in UK, I think so. I think are you from Kenya, but you live in UK or something like that? You school in UK. I think I've come across before, to Jomo. I'm talking about the storms of life, the situations of life that has beaten you black and blue. You feel like giving up. Have you been in a situation that you feel like giving up the ghost? I mean, you are tired of life. You understand what I mean? Those are the storms of life that come. They come to choke life out of you. I'm just here to encourage you that in any situation you find yourself, any storm of life, situation of life, has not come to kill you. You see, it's the devil that brings situations to your life, and he wants to destroy you. You are in a destination. You are an assignment. You are going somewhere to happen for God. Greater devil that is in the world. Remember, you are going on at a destination, and the devil terminate the assignment, the destination. The devil brings your way. That's what God uses. I mean, so one of the things I actually want to establish in this life today is that, you see, out of the storms, your storms of life, storms talks about situation that your challenges, they're about to sack you in your marriages. In your marriage, things are not working. You have a problem with your wife, or probably you don't have your family people, or maybe you are looking for a job, you have been looking for a job for a long time, or you are doing a business, the business is not working. These are all the storms of life, because God has not designed us, to be less. God say, I wish above all things, in Jeremiah 9:11 say, my thought towards you is not of evil but of good, to give you an expected end. So God expected you to have an expected end. But if you're not having those ends, you're having challenges, which are the storms. I'm telling you, God turns our storms into miracle. But one of the things I want to establish here is that some people don't allow God to use the storms to make a miracle out of our life. I gave you an example of a miracle of the Red Sea. You see, the Israelites came out from a bondage, and they were on a journey going to the promised land. Their destination is the promised land. Adibi, you see, God did not step in. The people will have been swallowed up by the situation and by the storms. But you see, thank God for a courageous leader like Moses that we have. Moses did not let God down. When the people cried to Moses, Moses cried to God and said, God, why are you crying to me? Tell the people to keep going in the midst of the storm. God said, why are you crying to me? Tell the people to keep going. So in the storm of life, God will not tell you to hush. I learned one thing. When the storm is getting tough on you, you keep going in the storm. I don't know what they say. The people of the world say, they say when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. It's not in the middle of the storm that is tough. You want to give up. So God does not want us to give up. He said in his word in the book of Acts chapter 10:36 or so, he said, my soul will not have pleasure on any man that gives up. I'm the one paraphrasing right now. In the middle of the storm, my soul will not have pleasure on he that gives up. So the Bible says, he that endureth to the end shall be saved. God wants us to hold on, the last minute of that storm that we are going through. I don't know the storm that is going on in your life right now. That you feel like committing suicide, you feel like giving up. It's not a time to give up. Suicide is not an option. Suicide is cheap. It is said that winners never quit, but it's only losers that quit. Are you about to quit at the middle of a miracle that God is about to do? As I'm talking to you, I'm also talking to myself. You see, I give an example of Job. So many things was choking Job. Job lost his children. I mean, Job lost his wealth, being the richest man in the East. Job lost everything that you can ever think of. Job lost his friends. His friends were tormenting him. His wife asked him to, to curse God, and that's enough. That's plenty storm. Do you know how many storms I've counted? His wife telling him to curse God and die. His friends forsaking him. You see, his children dying. He losing his word. How many storms? More than 4 or 5 storms barraging this man at the same time. I'm telling you, that's how the situation and circumstances of life barrages us from life, left, right, and center. Are you about to give up? No, you are about to abort a miracle. My message today is that out of your storms comes your miracle. Out of your storm comes your miracle. That storm that looks like a storm is what God turns to be a miracle. If you don't go through storm, you don't have a miracle. So somebody defines it. He say the building block of life is storms, challenges, those things that are challenging you. These are the things that God uses to bring out the best in you. So if you don't want to go through challenges, then you don't want a miracle to pass through your life. So I encourage you today, hold on to the storm of life. If in case you're about to give up, I am not on the verge of giving up. I'm going through storms right now. So many things choking me. But now I'm not about to give up. I'm looking up to God, because why? You know what gives me the confidence? Let me give you one of the nuggets that can give you the confidence to hold on to not give up in the middle of the storm. Remember where God brought you from. I don't know about you. I have a testimony of where God brought me from. I have no beauty nor comeliness. When I was marrying my wife, I lost everything in life. And my wife married me. I'm telling you, there was no beauty or comeliness in me. When my wife married me, I had nothing. But she still married me. You understand what I mean? So if God can preserve a woman, I never even thought, how am I going to marry in life? I never thought about it. Oh, tell me, Jomo, get married. So you, you see, the situations and circumstance of life, LIVE, choked life out of me. LIVE, but did not choke life, LIE, out of me. Because the greater one that is in me lives in me and cannot allow the one out there to swallow up my life. God preserved my life. When I'm married, I go to a beautiful woman. I have beautiful children. And my life, I'm still moving. So you see, God uses those situations of those storms of life to make beauty out of me. So I'm telling you, one of the things that can help you to know that God, in this situation you find yourself right now, God is about to do a bit. God sustained me all those while. And today I find myself in another storm of life. What will keep me going, what will give me the assurance that God that's in that low esteem can still save me today. Because he's saying in his word, he said, I will never leave you nor forsake you. God that started a good work in you. He said, so I found that so I found that God will not allow situations of life to swallow you up. Just like he didn't allow situations of life to swallow me then. It's in now that I find myself in another bend. So you see, it is said that once in a lifetime, and at some point in time in your life, cross a bend. Like I just told you, the bend I find myself at that time, God helped me. I was able to negotiate, and I crossed, and I entered another level of life again. You see, right now I'm in a bend. If I don't negotiate, and I keep crying, some people cry in the middle of the storm. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. They cry, they sober. You see, tears will not do it. What God, oh my God. They cry, they sober. You see, tears will not do it. What would that? As you find yourself in any point in life, you find yourself in a bend, negotiate. You must negotiate to cross. When you negotiate to cross, doors will be open to you to go into success. I don't know what level of, trials you are going through in your life. Have you gone through situation? Can you share with me right now what situation you are going through in life? Let me bring counsel. I'm a pastor. I can counsel you. Tell me what situation of life you are going through. What has life, brought you to? What level has life brought you? You feel like giving up. Can you share your experience with me? I'm ready to counsel you here. I will counsel you. I'm telling you, I've counseled people. Don't feel dejected. Don't feel, I mean, rejected. Don't feel frustrated. I'm telling you, don't feel sorry for yourself. God did not create anyone to be in a sorry party. Can you share your experience with me? I've shared my own experience with you, how God delivered me from a major crisis in my life. Can you share with me what part of life, what part of right now that you want to share? You want to give us your experience. Have you found yourself in a challenge that you almost gave up? Can you tell me? Can you share your experience with me? Your worst moment in life. Can we just talk about your worst moment? Let's see how we can. I mean, we can make a paint a picture out of it. Jomo Idris. Jomo Idris, hi. I'm still waiting for you to come alive. Jomo Idris, you give me a like. Can I see you? I'm waiting for you to come up. I'm just waiting for you, Jomo Idris. So you see, no matter how situation has beaten you, God does not desire that we give up. God wants us, to hold on. He says it's either endure to the end that shall be saved. God does not want people giving up. If you give up, it's cheap. You have disgraced the greater one that is inside of you. You must know there's a greater one that is inside of you that does not want to give up. Have you ever seen it? It is said that your spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Because why? Your flesh is of the earth. Your flesh is earthly and is weak. But there's a spirit in you that doesn't want to give up. Have you found yourself in situations and circumstances that you know you want to go on with this project? The project or the work is weighing you down. Something is telling you go on. At the end of the tunnel, there's a success. But something is telling you give up the business. Have you ever been there before? I've been there. I know what I'm saying. It's the Spirit of God that is in you that is nudging you that you can't give up. God never created failures. Even if you failed before, if you failed several times, that does not make you a failure. Failure is just a process that gets you to success. So if you have failed before, it does not make you a failure. Quit calling yourself a failure. God did not design failure on the earth. What God designed is people that are amounted to something, people that are conquering their world for Jesus. So I come here to encourage you at this moment. Please never give up. Don't look back. Don't look at the storm. So one thing that makes us lose hope is that when storms come like that, I talk about storms. Storms are challenges of life. When it comes, we allow it to overwhelm us. You begin to say, "Oh my God, how did I get here? Oh my God, you want to give up the tower? You want to give up?" No, 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 no. Don't allow the storms of life to overwhelm you. Rather, you are a conqueror. Make sure you glide in the midst of that storm. I'm going to give you one example right now as I end. I give an example of the eagle bird the first time I talked about how do you weather the storm. Look at how the eagle, I'm going to give two examples. The eagle bird weathered the storm. You see, it's in the mix of the raging storm that the eagle bird spreads his wing. He spreads his wing and glide in the storm. You see, the storm is supposed to obstruct the bird from flying. You see, the storm that no bird, no ordinary bird can fly in the storm. It's only the eagle bird. It's in the mix of the storm that the eagle bird stretch his wings and glide. That's what carries him. So the storms of life carry the eagle bird. That's the way God wants us, to be. That the storms should carry us. The storms of life should give birth to miracles. You understand what I mean? He doesn't want the storm to overwhelm. The storm does not overwhelm the eagle bird. When he sees it, he's excited. That's why God always liken us to the eagle bird. He said, look at the eagle bird. In the midst of the storm, he glides. Glide means that he enjoys the storm. The storm, when the eagle bird gives birth to when the eagle bird gives birth to the young ones, he puts them in a beautiful nest. But when it comes up that the eagle bird should express himself by, flying, the eagle bird scatters the nest and take the eaglets up the hill and they begin to come down, come down. They are falling. I can imagine how they are shouting, "Oh, mother eagle, what are you doing to us? You are going to kill us. You are going to destroy us." He let them fall, 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 fall. Then he will go down and carry them. And he will meet them and carry them so that they don't crash. That's the same thing that God does to us. In the middle of that storm, God is always there. God is always there. He will not allow us to crash. He will not allow the enemy to swallow us up. He will not allow he that is in the world to swallow us up, because he that is in us is greater than he that is us in the world. My brother, that's how God takes care of us. So don't be overwhelmed by the storms of life. The storms of life have not come to, to destroy you. The situation that you are going through right now have not come to destroy you. You lost your brother, you lost your father, you lost your mother, you are the only child of your parents, and everything is working out as if it's going to choke life out of you. You are giving up. Don't give up. My brother, don't give up. Hold on some more. Don't look at the storm. In short, take your eyes off the storm. Do you know that when the eagle bird is gliding, it doesn't, well, I'm here to give you a good storms of life. That